Hi everyone, Sean Joyce here for Cyber in 60, and it is my pleasure to be here with Marci Rossell, who is the former chief economist of CNBC and also the co-anchor of the Squawk Box. Welcome, Marci.
Thank you.
All right, so we had a great discussion with you today, and you mentioned this term PDOOM, which I had never heard before, first time. So can you talk to our audience first, PDOOM, and then you mentioned sort of the three areas where people are talking about this and kind of give us your outlook.
Sure. Well, apparently PDOOM refers to the probability of doomsday. And when it comes to the economic environment, it's always characterized by things that people are concerned about, worried about. But it feels recently like the level of concern is heightened in three particular areas: commercial real estate and the possibility for a decline in that sector to spill over to the rest of the economy. Secondly, the condition of China, particularly their residential real estate concerns, and then their more long-term problems around demographic decline. And then finally, artificial intelligence. And when people talk about the economic effect of artificial intelligence, the PDOOM scenario is that this is a technology that rather than being employment enhancing, will be a job destroyer in the way that certain types of technologies, robotics and things were in the manufacturing sector back in the 80s and 90s. Now, as you can imagine, I'm not so much of a subscriber to the doomsday scenario in these areas, but these are the places that people are showing concern right now.
Okay, but you were sort of, I think, upbeat in there and hopeful. And you said, hey, these aren't all kind of necessarily going to bring us down. And you actually talked about, and specifically in AI, and I'd like you to talk to all our risk practitioners out there, how do you see that affecting businesses? And you talked about the large multinationals, but also I would say the small to medium-sized businesses.
Sure. When it comes to AI, I see it as another innovation in the long line of technological transformation that began with the Industrial Revolution in the 1800s. So we had the steam engine, we had the electrification of the economy, then we had the computer come along, and all of these things have done what all technologies do, which is increase productivity and essentially close the gap between intention and results. I mean, that's what tools do. They make something doable in a shorter and shorter period of time. What AI can do is that it lowers the cost of cognition. It brings things like consulting services, accounting services, legal services, compliance, all of these things that have been promoting larger and larger companies through consolidation, because you need economies of scale to access that kind of high level cognition because it's expensive. You bring the cost of that down through the implementation of artificial intelligence, and suddenly services that were only attainable for the largest firms suddenly become within the reach of middle market and maybe even small companies. We're seeing in the data a pickup in business formation in the United States in 2024. We don't know why yet, but maybe part of the reason why is that people can perceive that business services of all sorts are going to become cheaper and cheaper and more attainable for all sorts of types of firms.
All right, I like that hopeful outlook. Dr. Marci Rossell, thank you so much for joining us. And that's it for Cyber in 60.